Hi, I'm Laura Raposa from Track Gals TV and the Boston Herald's Inside Track. Today I'm here to show you how to make spicy salt cod cakes. Now this is not an easy process, but don't click away because it's really just a soaking process and then everything comes together all at once. So salt cod has been around for about 500 years. In Portuguese it's bacalhau. But you know, other people call it bacalhau. You know, everybody has it. The Spaniards, the Italians, everybody has recipes. The French, the Canadians actually, and that's where this salt cod came from, which I bought in the supermarket. And how you get it, it's just preserved in salt. Salt is a natural preservative, and this is how they used to preserve their fish. Now, looks gross, admit it, I'll admit it, and very salty. And so what you do is about 24 hours or between 24 and 48 hours, I would soak it in milk. And this recipe calls for 6 ounces. So this is a pound box, so I would say just use half of it would be fine, between 6 and 8 ounces. Before I soak it in the milk, and I soak it in milk because it's better, I think, than water, because water you have to change it all the time, you may want to take off some of the salt. But not all the salt, because you still need some salt for the flavor. And this is what it looks like. And if you take it out and it's kind of hard, you may want to put it in the microwave for about 2 to 4 minutes. I would say 2 minutes, and then stop and look at it and feel it again for 2 minutes. And make sure it's flaky, because it can be really hard if you don't soak it for between 24 and 48 hours. So here it is in the milk. Throw the milk away. And before I wash this off in water and julienne, the salt cod, I am going to make the rest of the cake recipe, which comes together all at once, very easy. And now we're going to start making the cakes. Now we're just going to saute a bunch of stuff for the salt cod cakes. Now first of all, we're going to have a 1/4 cup of chopped onion. Okay. And a 1/4 cup of celery. And a 1/4 cup of red pepper, also chopped. Now this will probably remind you, if you've made crab cakes, this is sort of like making crab cakes, you know, except they were salt cod. Let's see, what else do we have? The all-important 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And a 1/4 cup, excuse me, of crushed tomatoes. I'm using canned, but if it's summertime and you've got some nice tomatoes from your garden, you can use those. Then we're going to add, I would say, a 1/4 cup together of parsley and cilantro. Okay, so I'm just going to eyeball it here. But I would say this is about a 1/4 cup. And then I am going to add just a little bit of crushed red pepper for the zing, the spice in your spicy salt cod cake. I'm going to add a little black pepper. And this is a secret ingredient. This is Portuguese allspice, which smells like, I have no idea what it is, but I can tell you it smells like allspice and it smells like paprika. So that's what I'm thinking it is. And paprika is very prevalent in Portuguese food. Now I'm just going to add a little salt. Just a little, not a lot. Why? Because of the salt cod, right? A little kosher salt. And that's it, really. And now we're going to, while this is cooling down, because you cannot put this immediately in a bowl and then start mixing everything because it's really hot, I am going to julienne the codfish. Now I have washed the cod, got all the salt off of the bacalhau. Right now I am julienning, but I may end up chopping because it seems a little hard to me. I'm going to chop these up because I think it's going to be quicker to cook, and they're a little hard. So we're going to chop that up. Okay, now let's take the cod and put it in here. Okay. We're going to break it up, with our wooden spoon, and we're going to saute this until it gets very flaky. It's lost that hard taste and that hard feel, and now we're ready to make our cod cakes. In this big bowl, I have 2 eggs, which I am going to whisk, and then I'm going to add the cod cake mixture that has cooled. Here. All right, then we are going to put in our panko breadcrumbs, but you can use your regular breadcrumbs. Do not use the breadcrumbs that have they're already seasoned, those ones that I'm talking about that you make your meatballs out of. No, that's not what we want. Now I am going to take a 1/4 cup. And this would make, I would say, 8 cakes. 8 cakes. See, that's a 1/4 cup. That's a good size patty, I think. Now we're going to dredge it in flour. Not a lot. Not a lot. Pat it. Make sure it's all dredged. I have heated up 2 tablespoons of canola oil, which is almost shimmering. So let's get these in here. Now when you are frying, I'm only doing the 2, but just as a general rule, when you're frying cod cakes or anything pancakes, never crowd your pan, because when you crowd your pan, you're going to bring the temperature down because everything's all together. So you want to let the air circulate, keep it nice and even instead of having different heats at different parts of the pan. You really need to cook these maybe 2 minutes aside. If they're a little bigger, maybe more, obviously. But you want them a little brown, a little crisp. Okay, let's see what these look like on the other side. Yeah, that's nice. You just want a little crust. You don't want them too brown, because remember, we eat with our eyes, so you want them to look pretty. Now let's plate these spicy salt cod cakes up. Now these are some stewed fava beans and tomatoes, and I'm going to use these as a bed for my spicy salt cod cakes. Okay, I'm going to put a little parsley, and now we have our spicy salt cod cakes. I hope you try them. They're great for an appetizer, great for an entree, and I know if you don't like them, I know where you can find me.